80s Wrestling Con Part 2 continues. We're here with WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, of course, one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time, as well in WWE history. Tito, awesome to see you here today, and talk about meeting all your fans here and how cool this 80s style Wrestling Con is.
Well, I mean, this is my first time here. I guess this is the second time they've had it in this building, and I got here early because I wanted to see. You know, I got to see Mr. Wonderful, B. Brian Blair, Jim Brunzell, Demolition, Bob Backlund, Sergeant Slaughter, the $1 Million Man, Tatanka. You know, there's so many guys from the 80s. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them that aren't around anymore. So it's really an honor to be able to see and just chat with them for a little while even.
Yeah, and obviously you see some of these old friends and faces. You reminisce about those great times in the industry. Looking back on your career, what would be the greatest moment of your career? I know that I was watching an old King of the Ring, probably not one of the greatest moments, but you were there that night when Mick Foley went off the cell as a commentator, firsthand through that table. I mean, it was just so many wild moments. What do you reflect on most?
Well, you know, coming from a small town, you know, I keep saying this, that the first time that I stepped into Madison Square Garden, you know, it was a huge place, and you know, just the wrestling fans were just nuts. You know, they just love their wrestling, and you know, I had a lot of great moments. But you know, coming from a small town, you know, that was a real pleasure for me to step into MSG.
Yeah, nothing bigger than the world's most famous arena. And Tito, I've interviewed a few times with you before, and we talked about how you actually didn't like the El Matador gimmick. That was one of your least favorite gimmicks, huh?
Well, the reason I didn't like it is because they promised me that they were going to do, you know, something with it, and they didn't do anything with it. You know, it was something that Vince created just to X me out.
Yeah. Well, at the same token, Strike Force. You go back, tag team champions. Everyone remembers that WrestleMania churn with Rick Martel, and it set up a feud, obviously, with you guys. And going back on that, I mean, it was such a shocking moment where Strike Force actually broke up, and certainly a lot of tag teams here today from the 80s.
Yeah, you know, we were a great tag team, and the split was not something that I expected. You know, something happened in Rick's family's life, and they had to take a break, and he had to take a break, and, you know, things happen in life, but, you know, so we ended up splitting up.
Yeah. Tito, final question right now with the legendary Tito Santana here. Is a lot of competition right now, a lot of indies out there. AEW, WWE now is going out big. What does wrestling need more than ever now in terms of whether it's storytelling, athleticism, you name it?
Well, first of all, it needs competition, and I do think that old school works. You know, the writers that are, you know, the WWE's, you know, is completely different. You know, it's a different, it's entertainment. You know, it's a TV. So they rehearse the whole match, and you know, the guys don't understand psychology. Old school still works, and I'm glad to see that there's a, you know, a rise of new organizations, and I wish them nothing but the best.
Well, Tito, we want to say thank you for taking the time. There's really only one way to end this interview, and that's Arriba, right? Arriba! Arriba! All right. Tito, thank you so much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.